These are Xeroxes from the workbook. I'm just using this as an example of what systematic phonics looks like. You introduce the idea first that separate letters, when they're apart from each other, make separate sounds. So A says A, T says K. The next page, you introduce the idea that when letters are side by side, they make a word. So A and T, you can come on in, have a seat. When A and T are side by side, they make the word at. A board game. The book is full of games that you can play with your kids to reinforce what you're teaching. But this game, as an example, reinforces that A and T make the word at. I have these little circles that I use as markers, or this little fish, whatever's, or a little eraser, anything that makes it fun for the child. Each of you gets a marker and you put it on start. Then you take turns rolling a die. So this was 5. You move forward 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then read what's in the circle. So you would say a, t, at, a, t, and stop. And then the next person rolls the die, and you take turns going along the board reading like that. So this is a really fun way of reinforcing that A says a, T says t. Together they make the word at. Then, so you can see how everything is beginning already to build on what came before. Next, you're going to make words that end in at. On this page, you, the adults, do the writing so the child can see the words being formed. There's a box at the bottom that tells you what letters to write in. So here you would write B and explain to the child this word was at. We put a B in front of it, and now the word is bat. You put a C here, now the word is cat. Put an H here, now the word is hat, etc. So the next page again continues to build. You ask the child, what's this letter? What's this letter sound? B. Then if the child is ready and willing and able, they should do the writing now, because writing really helps reinforce learning to read, the writing of the words. Sometimes kids don't want to or aren't ready. The goal is to teach them how to read. That's okay. But if the child is ready to do it, it's better if the child does the writing. So sound out B, write the letter B here, and then write out and read the whole word here. So b, bat, bat. Keeps going, read the word, write the word, circle the word that goes with the picture. Again, anything that makes it fun for the child is a-okay. Some kids want to color in the pictures that go with the word. That's great. Some kids decorate the whole page. That's fine. Move slowly. It's better to do a little bit at a time than 5 pages in one sitting, because that little bit of work, if you do 5 minutes a day, it's more effective than 20 minutes every 4th day, because that little bit of work will actually wire the brain more for reading. It's like anything else. If you learn something in math and you don't use it, when you come back to it, it's like, what was that? Same with reading. So, whatever the child wants to do with the page, it's their page. It's great that they enjoy it. I made it look like a coloring book on purpose. And then this page, they circle the letters that make up the word and then write the word. And again, if they want to color the picture, they can. And then they get a bingo game. All of this now is teaching words that end in AT still. So I don't know if you remember or know how to play bingo, but these are sort of playing cards. You cut these out and stack them one on top of the other face up. Each of you gets a board with different words written on it, and then the child should read from the stack of words that you've made. It should read from the top. So let's say the first word is bat. Each of you looks for the word bat on your board and cover it with a penny. I really recommend using pennies and letting the child keep the pennies when he or she wins, because they love that. It's so motivational. You'd be amazed. So I also, kids don't tell, but I also recommend stacking the deck a little bit so that the kids can win. Not all the time, but it's no fun if the grown-up's winning all the time. So honestly, I stack it a little bit so that there's that excitement about winning and getting to keep the pennies. So the way you win is you cover 3 words in a row, either this way, this way, this way, or this way. Sometimes kids want to keep playing. I want to cover the whole board, or I want to win again. It's fine, whatever they want to do. Just, go ahead and do it. But this they also really, really love. So that was how to learn words that end in AT. Then we did a sight word. Next come words, and you'll see it goes in exactly the same way. That's what I mean by systematic. It becomes familiar to you, it becomes familiar to the child, and everything builds on what came before. So first they learn words that end in AT. Now they learn words that end in AN. Hi. And now they can actually read their first sentences. You guys have a copy of this too, I think, in the handout, this page. But this is really a big deal and very exciting for the child, because they'll actually be able to read sentences like the rat sat, pat the cat, the bat sat, pat the man. It's really a big deal, and I have this little picture of, kids jumping for joy. I recommend celebrating for each of these little milestones in whatever way that feels right to you. Like go out for an ice cream, give them a sticker, whatever, because marking each step helps the child feel like they're making progress and makes it fun. So then you're going to progress. There's another sight word. Is. Then there's a bingo game that mixes words that end in T and end in N. So you're practicing those 2 rules together. Then they learn the sight word on. And then this is a really fun game. You have a copy of this also. This is called Silly Sentences. And what you do is you cut these words out. The dark ones are the power words or sight words. The, is, and on. These are all words that end in AT or AN. And just take turns making silly sentences. For example, the bat is on the fat cat. Have the child put those words down and take turns reading each other silly sentences. They laugh a lot. It's fun. It gives them practice with the, is, and on, and words that end in AT and AN. So then you keep going and teach words that have different endings than AT and AN. AM, some words end in G. Wag, yep. Once they learn all those short A words with different endings, they can actually read a book, which is like the biggest milestone in the world for them, and they can't believe it, but they can read. This is a set of books called Bob books. The Bob books in the set are actually in a different order, numbered in a different order than I use them in the Steps to Reading program. So this is book 2, but I recommend reading it first. Sam. And really you have no idea how exciting it is for the child to be able to actually read this. Sam. This is Sam. Sam and cat. So tiny little sentences, very simple. Matt and cat. Sam, Matt, and cat. Cat sat on Sam, Matt sat on Sam. You get the idea. They won't make a movie out of it, but it's just, you know, so exciting for kids that they can actually read this. I would read one of these books that day and then save the second one, which they can also read just as well for the next day and make a big deal out of that again. You know, wow, you read your second book. And it's very exciting for them. Then there's another bingo game with all the endings. And then more power words, as and has. They can now read a bigger looking book, which continues to be exciting. This is a set called Primary Phonics. It's available from a company called Educators Publishing Service. A lot of libraries also have these books. But Tab is a cat. You can see the sight word is here. So it's already building. It's the phonics and the sight words being combined in the book. Tab has a pal. Has is a sight word. The is a sight word or power word. The other words they can all sound out. Tab has a pal. The pal is Mac. Mac is a rat. Mac has a cap. Really exciting for a beginning reader, you know, who hasn't really been working very long, to see that he or she can read this. Tab has a nap on the mat. Mac has a nap on Tab. Very cute. The mouse is on the cat. It's just very sweet. So, you know, again, everything's building. The phonics and the sight words.